So today guys, we're working on a 2016 Ford F150. There's a whining noise when in park, when accelerating, and we're gonna figure out what the problem is. You're gonna have to have an assistant push on the throttle so you could hear it. Go ahead. There's the noise that you need, that it's doing, so we're gonna try to figure out where that's coming from. It's a little screeching, whining noise. Okay. So now we're gonna try the old method here of having a bar to check out where the noise is coming from. I have it right behind the water pump. I don't know if you could see it, but the water pump is right there, and I'm gonna have her accelerate it. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna put my ear on the bar just to check where the noise is. Go ahead. Okay guys, so we found the problem here, and it is indeed the water pump. Let me zoom in here. Put my hand in there and turn. You see that play right there? That is your water pump. That's the noise that you're hearing. It's a shot water pump. We need to replace it. So now to start replacing the water pump, you need to remove the belt first. Let the engine cool off before you do this. There is a tensioner right there where the ratchet's at. I already taken the belt off. You just pull like this, loosen the belt, and take it off. From there you need to remove all the stuff that's above the water pump, like the air intake tube here and the air filter box. We might need to take off the throttle body right there, so we're gonna start on that. Next we need to take this housing off. There's two bolts right here, 1 and 2. You need to take it apart to remove this whole assembly and get to the 4 bolts around the water pump. So now that thermostat housing is out of the way, you can see your pump right there. There's 1 bolt here, 1 bolt here, and 2 on the bottom. You can't see them, but there they are, somewhere down there. Before we take out the pump, I want to show you what the problem is. There's some play right there. So there it is, guys. It's out. It's sitting right down here. That's the old one. This is the new one. I got this one from O'Reilly's. It was $121, lifetime warranty. I also got some Permatex water pump thermostat housing, gasket maker, and some coolant for American vehicle for Chrysler GM. Now we need to swap this tube out right here and put everything back together. So when you're putting it all back together, don't forget to put the new O-rings. This smaller one goes in this intake tube right here. Remove this one, put that one on there. This one already has the new one on the thermostat. They give you the new one here. So before I do that, I'm gonna put a little bit of oil right here just so it'll slide in, and then I'm gonna use the Permatex and just go around it just lightly with the finger around, and then right here too. I've had no issues leaking or anything when I done that, so that's what I'm gonna do. I replaced the O-rings. There's the new one right there. I put a little bit of oil just to lube the O-ring to put it in the slot right there. I used the Permatex and just put a thin bead around it, and I also oiled the O-ring there a little bit, and I also put some Permatex just a little bit around the thermostat there. And on the water pump side where the motor goes, it's all clean there too, so it's time to put it back together. The water pump is on, that tube is on there, and for reference where the bolts go, I got the old one right here. So there's two up top and two on the bottom, 10mm bolts. Now the thermostat housing is on. We'll put this clamp back on there. Now these two are 8mm, and don't tighten them, don't force them. If they're not going in, don't force them, because this is aluminum, and when they strip out, you're gonna have to get a new water pump. So don't over, if they're not going in by hand first, don't force them. So at this point, we got the belt on and the pulley with those 3 bolts right here. These are 10mm bolts, and if you're having trouble tightening them, because either you didn't put the belt on and tighten them, or you're putting on the pulley without the belt, there is a trick. So I get a screwdriver and I wedge it in there like this, and with my other hand you get the 10mm ratchet there, and you hold both and turn while holding the screwdriver. That's how you do that one. On the belt tensioner, simply pull up and you route the serpentine belt. You loop it around the crank. It goes over the tensioner, over the water pump here, down to the alternator, and down the crank. Now we get the throttle body back in. Before you put the throttle body in, this clamp, you need to put this clamp on before you put the throttle body, because getting some pliers in here is going to be tough. So do this one first and then put your throttle body back on. And remember, finger tight first, because these are 8mm, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Don't over tighten them because this is a plastic intake. This is a 5.0 Ford engine. And now, so we're gonna put this, the hose that goes here, the hose that goes here, and the hose that goes here and here. So I'll get this one in here. That one just clips on. This one right here, I just laid it on top. It goes right there. You gotta align that right there until it clicks like that. This one right here from the coolant reservoir goes in here. There we go. And put the clamp back on. And then the bottom hose. Now you could remove this right here too. Get that out of the way. We'll put that one right there. There we go. Put that clamp right there. Now that those clamps and those hoses are all hooked up, we're gonna have to close the drain on the radiator. I closed that drain on the radiator on the bottom. Now at this point, before I put the air intake tube, because that's the last thing to do, and also put some coolant in here. And before I even start the vehicle, I check to see if there's any leaks, visible leaks without the engine running, and without the air intake here, so we could see if there's any leaks before we start the engine. Now it's full of coolant. We're just checking to see if there's any leaks. The water pump right there around the thermostat. Now we put the air intake tube back in. We start the vehicle. You turn on your heater so it'll recirculate the coolant. And watch the temps. Those are just the fans. Now we check for that noise that we were hearing. It was usually at under 2,000. And it's gone. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe.